special guests, also myself and Mr. Charles, who anchor this program where we'll be talking about the current state of the Nigerian financial market. So let me introduce our guest. We have here Mr. George Oge Aniegbunem, right? All right. The founder of Regenerative Sustainability Organization of Nigeria, also head of asset management at DLM Capital Group. Also with us here in the studio is Mr. Ambrose Omorodion. Also, he's an analyst at Invest Data, right?
Yeah.
All right. Good afternoon, sirs.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us.
All right. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, yes. You know, Gina, when I have this kind of two experts in our midst, of course, it's a relaunch, so it's a special program.
Yeah.
But I'm beginning to ask myself, I'm going to learn from these two people because I know they are the gurus in the markets. You know, talking about George, you know, it's very few of us who have decided to become advocates in terms of sustainability. That is one area in which most finance experts are not really doing so much about. But looking at the performance of the financial market, especially the capital markets today, I think we are going to learn a lot from that. Then, of course, we know Ambrose himself is, will I say, a veteran, but I think he's done quite a lot when it comes to
Education.
analyzing the market and, you know, giving that support in terms of research for the market. Ambrose has done quite a lot of that. So without wasting much time, but before I go, before I start the program or the questions, I will want to say shout out to Institute of Financial Planning. That's an institute that is coming up in the country, and some of the promoters, they've been around for quite some time, but we need more of financial education, and I think they will be coming out with something that will encourage people to begin to take their finances, personal finances, seriously, you know, in terms of what is personal budget, wealth creation, estate planning, you know, setting your financial goals and achieving them. So that will be coming up. So it is in that spirit that we are looking at our relaunch today, and we're looking at the performance of the financial market, especially the capital market. Yeah, so I would just ask Andrew, you know, sorry, Ambrose,
No problem.
in your own view, assess the performance of the financial market, especially the capital market, looking at Q1, Q2, and you know what is going on right now.
Actually, we look at the capital market with also the economy in perspective, so that you can get the full gist and flow of the market. Year to date, yes, market has been in uptrend, and that was as a result of at the beginning of the year we saw impressive number from 2021 financial year. That was a boost, and also in the history of our market, the month of January has always been a month forward for position taking for the new year.
Okay.
That was how you saw market gain about almost 9% for January. That was sustained, in February, because we are seeing more numbers coming. Unaudited account was coming. But we'll start seeing companies with their full year result, dividend reward coming, and earnings beating expectation. There was more position taken in the market. That pushed the market in the month of January to close as high as 9%. It was sustained also in the month of February, but around March, a little slowdown, but the trend continued to date. But for me, I would say that our market has defied a lot of things around the world, because the way it's going, if you look at matured markets, their market is bleeding, sustaining downtrend, southward movement.
Okay.
But why our market, even in Africa, will remain the best market just because of what the factors going for our market. What are those factors?
Yes. What are those factors?
Earnings. Our interest rate was relatively low before it was adjusted.
Okay.
And at the same time, also, we're seeing companies releasing impressive number. You see, these factors were what investors were looking at. And also, if you look at our companies, if you really value them, most of them are still undervalued as we speak.
Okay.
Despite that the market has touched as high as 54 before coming down, I'll tell you that it's just few stocks that are highly priced stocks that move the market to that level.
Yes.
While the blue chips and the medium cap stocks, small are still trying to come up. But the beauty is that when market is going up, no matter the stock that's leading it or the sector, it will drag others up to follow that trend.
Yes.
And that also helped the market. But the good thing is that when we enter the second quarter, I told my colleague that we expect a mixed trend in the second quarter. But being that in the history of our market, you can check your history, April is positioning for the year.
I see.
Why people want to follow the trend of the sell in May and come back in October.
Okay.
But our market for the last 6 years have defined that strategy of selling May
and come back in December.
In October.
In October, yes. I used to hear that.
But
that's true.
our market was up in the month of April, May. Immediately we enter June,
yes.
I told them that June is very dicey. And also, if you look at the history of our market, for the straight 5 years, we have seen June down and for 3 times, why June was up for 2 times within 5 years. It tells that June is not there or there. For me, investors should expect that what we are seeing in the market, I'm not surprised, and that should not send panic to the market. If our market have defined what is happening globally, and now that we are trying to join the trend, tells that there is something that has spread the market, which is what, as far as crude oil price is up, we expect our market also to remain up. And also forget that if the budget of the nation, our benchmark is below the $100,000, $100 per price, that is that it's also going to be a support for our market. And also early this year, the IMF or World Bank said that our economy will grow by 3.4, while others are still downgraded.
Yes.
Our own was upgraded.
That's true.
Just because of what? Our major source of income is crude oil. And that is why you see our oil sector today, that one at perform the market about 58% year to date.
Yes, the likes of Seplat, Total, and all that.
That sector is also what has supported the market. If you also look the way of the industrial goods, you can see that because of stock like Dangote cement have done buyback, the price have kind of revalued, and also that people see kind of opportunity and insight in that stock. It moved from as low as 167 to almost 300 the same period.
That's true.
That also supported the market. Today that that stock lost 10%, so that the market has almost 2% today. But people should not be afraid, because it is this high cap stock that pushed the market up. Yes. If they are correcting now, don't be afraid, because other stock will take the lead to take the market up, because it is not one sector or one industry will lead the bull. Now that this high cap are coming down, we expect others to take us up today.
Okay, thank you very much. Ambrose, you can see that Analyst, I think I agree with what you have said, being a practicing trader. So George, let's just hear your own little contribution as to the performance of the market.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Ambrose has actually said so much about what's going on in the market. I was with some people I think that was some weeks ago, and they asked me a similar question. Why is it that Nigerian market is never in correlation with the global market? When the global market is up, we are down. When the global market is down, we are up.
That's true.
So why? And I told them it's because of the way our economy is structured. So, and secondly, our economy is not economy that brings out the right data.
Okay.
So, and also our investors here are not investors that most of the time react to market sentiment.
I see.
Unlike what we have in advanced market. In advanced market, just a little news, there's huge sell-off. But here, like you said, most of the investors still believe that most of these companies are doing below their proper valuation.
I see.
So no matter what you see, no matter what happens in the market, even during the COVID period,
that's true.
You see that most of these companies came out with very strong results.
That's true. Their earnings were very
strong. So you see mostly the dividend paying ones like Zenith Bank, GT Bank. We saw them, the likes of MTN, they came out stronger and better.
That's true.
So you always see this when compared to what we have in the advanced market.
Okay.
Plus the fact that
let's leave it at that. Okay. So yes, in recent times we have had issues in the financial market, especially the capital markets, in terms of their contribution to preserving the planet. As a sustainability advocate, tell us, from your experience, how has the operators investors, analysts, the media, regulators, how have they done in terms of awareness of the role of sustainability in the capital markets?
Okay.
I know it's a loaded question, but let's take it one by one. First of all, maybe you just tell us what is actually sustainability.
Okay, so one thing that even professors of sustainability have not been able to define is the word sustainability. Because sustainability is still evolving. Okay. So we cannot at this point say this is sustainability. But oftentimes when we hear the word sustainability, we're talking about the preservation of the earth, preservation of livelihood, preservation of man. Okay. Because you know that this earth, we don't have another one. Despite the fact that we hear Elon Musk say he's taking us to Mars, but this is what we have for now. Okay. And this is what we are going to give to our children. Yeah. So anytime we talk about sustainability, we are talking about how can we preserve this place so that we have something to give to the next generation.
Okay.
And you see, our parents, our forefathers, our ancestors, they were very wise. They were very smart.
Yes. In their own little way.
In their own little way. So they had their way of preserving the earth. They planted trees. Now, once there's a little rain, we say, cut off all the trees. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
If you go to Lekki and Environ, I live in Lekki and Environ, you see people, mostly the highbrow area, you see people pull out the grasses, the green grasses, put what's it called?
Tiles.
Interlocking tiles,
yes.
and cover it with artificial green carpet.
Yeah.
They say it's decoration, but I see that as ignorance. Let me use that word, ignorance, because the artificial grass has no environmental value. Yeah. So why do we have these grasses? Why do we have these grasses? Because they help to clean the environment. We take out carbon dioxide, they take it from us for photosynthesis, yes, release oxygen to us, and we breathe in the oxygen. If you kill all the trees today, kill all the grasses, this air will be highly toxic and everybody will die.
Yes, if you are just joining us, it is Investor Education, a special relaunch.
Also, remember you can watch us live via our Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/BroadStreetRadioNG. Also, remember you can catch up via our YouTube channel as well. It's at Broad Street Radio on YouTube. To you, Mr.
Okay, so just tell us, what do you think investors can really do in terms of this sustainability?
So let me
briefly.
Okay, let me say that one of the things, if you look at the advanced market or the developed world, you will see that investors have enough information. They are more enlightened, more experienced, more exposed investors. So they understand what sustainability is.
I see.
But we still have a lot to do in Nigeria in terms of investment education, sustainability education.
I see.
And that was the reason why I started Regenerative Sustainability Organization of Nigeria, which we call RegenSource.
I see.
So that people can be aware. You saw what happened between the ExxonMobil board and the activist shareholders.
Exactly, yes.
They voted out to
the board and the management.
Yeah,
yes.
Two of them.
Yeah.
So you can, if you've been following the news, in May you saw the clampdown on Deutsche Bank.
Yeah.
Over $1 trillion kind of scam or whatever. They were accused of this thing we call greenwashing.
Okay.
So greenwashing is when you come and claim and say this, you have people that say this is green soap, this is organic soap.
Yes.
Everything they produce, people produce now, they say green is green.
Eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly. God bless you, you know it. So people say that this fund is green. It's a green fund.
Yeah,
we invest everything into sustainability.
Environmental friendly projects.
Then we go check. We find out that it's not true. You are still funding fossil energy, funding some things that are not so. And the way it is going, they are going to be fined.
I see.
Secondly, you heard of Neil Young, the 76-year-old musician, who is telling young Americans, stop go and take your money away from Wells Fargo, from Citibank, from Bank of America, and from JP Morgan. Take your money away from there, because these people are using your money to fund things that destroy the earth.
Anyway, bring us to Nigeria.
So when
bring us to Nigeria.
Bringing us back to Nigeria, bringing us home, you will see that the day these investors get to learn this thing, that you are using my money to poison the environment, they will pull the carpet. And when the investors pull the carpet, the party is over. Of course. You just hear that this company has become moribund, or this company has gone under.
Okay.
But
so the companies now, the quoted companies now, they have to start looking at sustainability in all their strategy.
Exactly. They have to start looking at sustainability. And it doesn't end there. It doesn't end with investors. You see that regulatory bodies all over the world, like ECB, European Central Bank, is doing so much now that integrating sustainability methods into their banking supervision.
Of course.
And you know that central banks all over the world, they work together.
Yeah.
As soon as Central Bank of Nigeria adopts that, many banks in Nigeria are going to find it very difficult.
Okay. They will start something.
Yeah, so we encourage them. We approach banks, institutions, encourage them to start early. You don't need to see it as, undergo that fire brigade approach. Okay. Start now to integrate ESG and sustainability practices into your strategy. In your strategy.
Okay. So I'm sure we're going to bring you back for more detailed program on sustainability finance, where we'll be looking at even the role of even operators. We're going to be doing that so that our investors should be educated on the power they have in terms of but again, I need to even mention some few companies who have done their sustainability report to the NGS exchange. People like I think Nestle has done that. Even Dangote Cement, they have done their sustainability report.
Quite of them that are doing well. Yeah.
We'll continue to encourage them, and of course, so that they also train sustainability experts and advocates that will become champions in that industry. Exactly. Let me turn to Ambrose now. Tell us more about Invest Data. Upcoming events. What is Invest Data? Your sentiment reports. Investor style on and how to benefit from the market.
Yeah, Invest Data is an independent research company purely to educate Nigerians on how to invest wisely in any market cycle. People say that when market is down, you don't need from the market. In that market, there's opportunity in that market. If you have designing, I as an investor or trader to pick the right stuff, because when market is down, there are some spices up and down in the market for you to make money. But if you don't understand how to use your data, especially a sentiment report of Invest Data that tells you, the activities behind the price. Because many investors in Nigeria, at the end of the day, they just see price close 5 naira in the newspaper. They feel that it's okay for them. When you see such numbers or end of the day price, you need to know what has happened at the back of that price. And that's why Invest Data will give out daily report on sentiment report to know the activities behind that stock. If, for example, Nestle closed for 1,400 today, you need to know, is it a buy close or a sell close? Then if you Invest Data will have 100% buy, tell you that price is on a demand price. That means the next day, the possibility that the stock will start going up is high, because if it's closing on a buy for today, 100% buy, or if it's closing 100% sell, tell that stock continue to go down the next day. That means you need to know what activity behind the stock, because people see that then clicking up in the newspaper stand, want to see the price of close, or they send it to your mail from your stock.
I will stop you there. Yes, Ambrose has just explained what we traders we hold dear to our chest. We're talking about the bid and the offer and the offer price, and of course, my friend here, John, also understand the bid and the offer. When you have more bid, you expect the price to go up, and of course, if you have more offer, the price is likely to go down. So, George, just any comment about investor style from your own experience as an asset manager?
So I feel that let me relate it with ESG and sustainability. Yeah. I feel that investors from this part of the world, they've not really come to terms with sustainability, so they don't really react to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that does not mean that they should be taken for granted, because the investment education is being deepened every day.
Yeah.
We see people coming to tell, because everything that affects you, you shouldn't joke with it.
Exactly.
So when you know that somebody is doing something that is harming you, you will fight with everything to stop that. So I see that in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, with technology, social media, and more education, I see a highly sophisticated investor activism in this from this part of the world.
I agree with that one.
Yes.
Investors
Activism, yeah.
Before I will let you go on that, you recently participated on a training program.
Okay.
Just tell us about the program and what do you think can be done to improve the quality of that program.
Okay.
You don't need to mention the program.
Okay.
We have not paid for any advert.
Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, I must commend you, your effort, and that of others in making sure that that program went so well, because that's the kind of program we need to deepen the market, mostly the capital market in Nigeria. And I must attest to the fact that we learned so much. But I also believe that a major place where we had problem was technology and infrastructure. And I believe that is a general problem with this climb.
That's true.
But I also believe that as we improve in technology and infrastructure, things will get better.
Even our power infrastructure.
So I believe things will get a lot better as we continue.
Okay, thank you very much. Ambrose,
okay,
your own contribution on investors' education and training in the capital market.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What's there for us to learn from you?
We'll continue to share our knowledge and also educate Nigerians investors. I'm happy that our market is becoming more transparent, that you can see what is happening, you can trade from anywhere. But this education is what investors need to stay ahead of the market, because everybody in the market want to articulate the next. But that's why we're looking for a trend before that person see that trend. That's why we're doing a technical analysis to know exactly what is happening. Why some of the market are waiting for fundamental. The smart ones are combining both the fundamental and technical to make your informed investment decision. Yes, our coming masterclass is purely for those that want to take advantage of the market in 90 days, just from the first day of July to the 30th of September, because all the master program in investor data is 90 days space to take position the right stock to buy. Yes, because we are seeing that the market is already correcting, and when market pull back, it's a great opportunity for you to look into some good opportunities. Especially, we have seen that some sectors are safe even for investors, while some group of stocks also are defensive. Then you need to know how to position yourself in those stocks so that even when the market is correcting or there is political uncertainties, you are not afraid, because you know that you are in a stock that have low risk and also preserving your capital. At the end of the day, you are also growing your earnings. That's why you need to sit down, because for those that are big boys like the banks, they want to run away from capital market, because the fixed income market is very weak to take billions and trillions of naira. But in equity market, because it's small, most stocks are there that people want to sell down. That is why I said, if you're a small investor, you are earning little, don't be afraid of the market. Just take the little you have, look at some stock, because out of the 180 stock on the exchange, you can't invest in all. There are some of them that has potential to give you good dividend, at the same time capital appreciation. These are what you should then at that training will open your eyes how to use your technical analysis, your price action.
Thank you so much, and I hope you will send Broad Street Radio. You will send us some of the materials for that
no problem.
Training, because we're already partners in progress. You can see it is Broad Street Radio. And this particular program is investors education. So we are together. Yes,
well, I agree with you.
Okay, George.
So,
what advice do you have for operators, regulators?
Oh, that's interesting. I think for operators just have to brace up for the challenge. A lot will be happening between now and the next 5 years. In terms of, you will see SEC come up with several regulatory footprints or frameworks. You are going to see a lot of changes in terms of criteria and architecture, in terms of regulations, and expect a total overhaul. And secondly, operators, if they want to really help to deepen the market, this is the time for them to come together, because there's a projection that between now and the next 20 years, you are going to see over $20 trillion flowing into the ESG and sustainability focused investments. So operators should begin to position themselves to reap from this huge yield.
I see.
Then going to the regulators. So I think this is a time for regulators like financial market regulators, the CBN, the SEC, and even the SROs.
Of course, yes.
This is the self-regulatory organizations.
Yes.
This is the time for them to go and, do a deep dive into regulations. One particular jurisdiction I respect so much in terms of sustainability regulation is the Eurozone. They have done so much. April 2022, they released a broad framework. In short, I think I will suggest you go through the framework.
Okay, you
Beautiful
can
framework.
send to us, no problem.
Yes, broad framework, and it's continuous. So I would love to see regulators, the SEC, the CBN, and others I've mentioned, do a deep dive into this and see how they can position this country, the capital market, the financial market in Nigeria, to reap from this huge reward, this capital inflow into this system, over $20 trillion.
Wow.
So we must position ourselves to reap from this.
Okay, just like I've told them, Bruce, you're going to be our partner when it comes in terms of sustainability, capital markets, the training and the education. And because I'm going to be calling on you most of the time, so that, and I hope when we call you, not tell me I'm in a board meeting. You will have to be with us on our program, because this is the only program that takes the interest of investors into consideration.
Wow.
Because we have seen that investors are the people. No investor, no capital market.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I will just ask Ambrose to round up for us. Yes.
Yeah.
Quickly, your advice to operators, and of course, what do you see remaining part of the year?
Yeah, actually, from what
in 60 seconds.
Yeah, from what you just said, sustainability is very, very important. Like our market down here, our market are able to perform credibly because we have less foreign participants in our market. That means it is time for local regulators to look inward and encourage local participants in this market, so that our market will stay this trend. You can now plan with the market. In the last 3 years, markets have been stable because foreign investors are not in and out as before. We need more participants by giving investment education to the public. Yes. That will have more local participants in the market. That also depend in the market. For me, that is what they should do now, because look at other African market. Our market is standing out because if foreign investors are here, once they hear any adjustment in the in rates in their home country, they sell off immediately. Market will bleeding because we have less of them in the market. As we speak now, we have less than 18% of foreign participants in the market, and up to 80% Nigeria. That makes me, and we have strong institutional investors participating in the market too. For me, we should encourage this, and that will help a long way. Let all the regulators, operators, SEC, and all come together and deepen investment.
Okay, so if I hear you, stability in the capital market is
very key. Yeah.
Yes.
We can plan with the market, but if not stable, we can't plan with the market.
Okay. Before I round off, I want to leave you with a quote. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve.
Yes.
That's a quote from Napoleon Hill.
I agree with you.
Think and grow rich. Over to you, Zina.
That wraps up our Investor Education Series, the relaunch special. Special thanks to our guests for joining us today in the studio. Do not be a stranger, and I would love to have more of you on the show some other time. Also, remember you can catch up via our various social media platforms. Join in on the conversation on Facebook. It's at Broad Street Radio NG, on Twitter at Broad Street RAD, Instagram at Broad Street RAD. Have a lovely evening and stay blessed. Thank you.
Thank you.